What's up, guys? This is Corey with the Dirt City Gym, back with another video for y'all today. So today we are starting to really take a look into our upcoming format, our upcoming set with the set 7 stuff. All the cards have officially been revealed, so I'm finally comfortable actually getting into decks and kind of moving on into what to look forward to with the upcoming set. So today we are taking a look at the new Red Gohan Leader. We're using the Triple Flash or the GT engine, whatever you prefer. Kind of really get into a super aggressive deck that has the potential to really just kind of win games by turn 3, which I think is incredibly powerful in the upcoming format, especially with things like minus Killing Zone, Cold Bloodlust, all that kind of stuff really kind of taken out of the format. So let's go ahead and get on into our list. Alright, so here we've got our Gohan Leader. So most people aren't super aware what the new leaders do, so we'll go ahead and get into that. So he's Sun Gohan on the front. He's got an auto... he's got an activate main, burst 2, so you take the 2 cards of your deck, put them in your drop area, take 1 life, and then if your opponent has 5 or more life, they take 1 damage. So this is a really good way to not actually have to swing at your opponent to make them start taking damage, which is good for different situations, and it also pretty much guarantees that we're going to get our opponent from 5, or from 8 all the way down to 4. So it's a pretty safe way in order to do that. We don't have to worry about negates or anything like that. They can't stop this ability from happening, so it's really strong. And then on his backside, he's got a couple different abilities. So he's got Sparking 5. Whenever he attacks, draw a card, kind of standard there. He's got a Activate main. You can, or it's also Sparking 5. You can choose 3 cards from your hand, put them in the drop area, then choose all of your red and green battle cards and the Gohan Leader, and they all get plus 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. So it's a really great, like, great big burst for all of your cards in play. You can swarm that way. You can get things really big and really fast and things like that. Just really great overall ability for the leader. And he's got also an Activate main. When one of your cards uses Alliance, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 30k power or less and KO it. For the purposes of this deck, that's not useful for us, but it is a great ability moving forward in different types of strategies and things like that. So let's go ahead and get into our actual list. So first up, we got 4 Dependable Mom Bulma. She's a 1-drop, 1 red, 5k, Activate main, put her in rest mode, choose one of your battle cards, it gets plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn, and you get to draw a card. So this is really good, just great card draw. You don't need another battle card in play other than Bulma in order to use this ability, so you can give Bulma the 5k and draw a card. You can give anything in play 5k and draw a card, which is really good. That works for what we're trying to do in the deck. But if anything else, it's just great card draw for us. Moving on into that, we've got 4 Intensifying Power Trunks. So he's just a great, he's a pay 1, swing, take life. He gets plus 10k in critical. He's really strong there. It helps us awaken a little bit if we need to. We pretty much are able to self-awaken for the most part, but if we need to get to a particular number quicker, it's a great way to do that. Next up, we've got 4 Pint-Sized Warrior Son Goku, so it's a 1-drop 5k whenever it comes into play. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Goku GT card you find there and add it to your hand. So this is a great searcher for the deck. We've got several targets that we're needing to find. We're needing to find a couple different puzzle pieces for this deck in order for it to really work. So this is just a great searcher for us. Next up, we've got 2 Videl, Gohan's partner. So she's a 2-drop 5k blocker, and she's got the permanent. If Son Gohan is your leader, or you have a Son Gohan in play, you can just put her into play for free. She's just really great there. She's really great value. It also really works if ever you get into kind of the mirror matches with this type of deck. Being able to have a blocker for free is just really good. Blocker is going to be way more important in the format moving forward, I feel like. They're really trying to push that mechanic, so it's just great having an access to a free one here. Next up, we've got 4 Combination Attack Pan, so she's a 3-drop, 10k. She's got the permanent. If you have a Son Goku in play with 25,000 power or more, you can play her from your hand for free. And then she's got an Activate main. Once per turn, choose up to 1 of your red battle cards, gets plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So this is really good for us as we get into what the strategy is here in the next couple cards. You'll really see why this is important to us. Next up, we've got 4 Determined Super Saiyan Son Goku, so it's a 3-drop 2 red, 15k with barrier, and it's got the permanent. If your life is at 4 or less, increase the energy cost of this card by 2 in your battle area. So he becomes a 5-drop for 15k. You only have to ever pay 3 for him, but when he's in play, he becomes a 5-drop, which is relevant for us for evolving purposes. Next up, we've got 3 Furthering Destruction Champa, just a great double strike card. It allows us to really apply pressure when we need to. We've got 4 Victorious Fist Super Saiyan Son Goku. So he is a 25k that costs 6. He's got EX Evolve for 1 red over a Red Goku GT with an energy cost of 5 or more. So the determined Super Saiyan Son Goku becomes that when you're at 4 or less life. Whenever he attacks, he restands and he gets plus 5k for the turn. And he's got double strike, so he's just a really great pressure card. He allows us to attack multiple times. He gets big and fat. Just really great card overall. And then next up, we've got really the core of the deck. We've got 4 Triple Flash Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku. So it's a 7-drop, 2 red, 30k. EX Evolve for 1 red off of a Goku GT with an energy cost of 5 or more. So our determined Super Saiyan Son Goku again. For 1 red, then you get to draw 2 cards whenever it comes into play. You can only play 1 of these per turn. And then he's got the permanent. Whenever this card's power becomes 40k or more, and your leader card is a red Saiyan, his attacks cannot be countered, and they cannot activate counter cards against whenever he swings. So whenever he goes in, their only option is a combo. They can't Mafuba it. They can't even play something like a After Image technique to reduce his power level because they just can't activate counter, which is really, really, really strong for what we're doing. So really kind of the whole core of the deck is to use our leader ability Gohan, our combination attack Pans, or dependable Mom Bulma to get him super huge and just swinging in for a triple strike that they can't negate and they have to combo over. And because we're making him so big, we're going to make it really hard for them to actually combo over that. So it's a really great way to finish the game, and an awkward number at 3. Triple strike's a really great finisher. And being able to get access to it so early on turn 3 is really how we can get there. Is just really, really strong. Next up, we've got 4 support attacks on Goten. So it's just our super combo. As long as our leader is red and we have 4 less life, it's plus 10k, draw a card. Next up, we've got our SCR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So this is kind of our alternate win strategy for the deck. So he EX evolves for 1 red off of a Goku GT with an energy cost of 6 or more, so our Victorious Fist or our Super Saiyan 4 Triple Strike Goku. Whenever he attacks, he gets plus 5,000 power, and then if his attack becomes 60k or more, you deal 1 damage to your opponent. So we're able to really close out the game here with him. We get him up really big, we just swing and they automatically take a life. Even if they negate it, they take a life. If they block, they take a life. And then he's got the auto, choose 2 red cards from your hand, place them in the drop area, then he restands. So if we get into a situation where they are able to combo out of the triple flash for whatever reason, we go to the next turn, we can swing again with the triple flash, make him real big again. If they can get out of it, then we can just EX evolve into the SCR and then pitch 2 cards, restand him, swing again. If he's at 60k, they just take a life. There's nothing they can do to stop that. So that's a great way to kind of close out the game with him as well. Next up, we've got Strategies of Universe 7, so it's a 0 cost extra card. All of our red Saiyans in play gain barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is a great way, like if we can't close out the game with the triple flash on turn 3, we can play this for free, give him barrier so they can't just like pop him. And then next turn try to win again with either him or the SCR. Next up, we've got 4 After Image techniques, so it's a great pseudo negate. It's got sparking, so we can play it for free. It gives our leader plus 40k and one of our opponent's battle cards minus 10k. So it's a great way to get out of awkward situations. Next up, we've got Familial Bonds. So this is one of the new cards from the new set. So it's a 2-drop extra card. It gains Desire in all areas, which isn't overly relevant for us. And then if your leader card is red, you can choose 1 red Saiyan card in your drop area with an energy cost of 3 or less and a power of 15k or less, and put it into play. And then if you do, search your deck for 2 Dragon Balls and put them into your hand. So this is the way we get out our determined Super Saiyan Son Goku out on turn 3. So we play 2, we pay 2, we play this, we put him into play, go search for Dragon Balls, and then now we can just pay 1 to evolve into Triple Flash and kind of finish the game that way. So it's a really great way to kind of cheat this out super quickly. And then finally, we're running 2 of the 4-star balls. So this isn't overly super relevant to us, but what this is so we can play Familiar Bonds, and we're able to actually search out cards from our deck, so we get the full value of the 2 costs. So we're effectively like plussing cards from our hand as opposed to just minusing cards. This also works, it's a 5k combo at the worst, but what we're really using this for is so when we activate our Son Gohan's ability to have to pitch 3 cards, we have 2 cards that we just searched out of the deck that we can just pitch for free. We don't have to worry about anything like that. We can pitch extra cards if we need to, if we want the extra 5k power, but it just gives us some utility there to be able to just search cards that we can just throw away. Moving into the kind of the budget and everything like that. As far as the budget, it's relatively medium right now. The SCR is only sitting at like $45, which isn't too bad, especially for an SCR. Then everything else of the deck is relatively cheap. Triple flashes are just a couple bucks. Victorious Fists are like $1. 4-star balls are like $2. Obviously, we'll see this price may increase as the set comes around to getting released. If this strategy starts becoming more prevalent, you may see the SCR or the triple flashes start going up in price. But right now, you're probably looking about like 60 to 80 bucks really to kind of flesh out this deck. So not too bad there. As far as strengths, we're incredibly aggro. We're able to just burn our opponent down to 4 life off just our leader ability, especially if we go first. It's really great for us. We're able to self-awaken there. Burn is just an incredibly strong strategy in itself that's really getting a lot of support in set 7. We've got our leader burn, we've got the SS4 SCR Goku burn, so we're able to close out games without having to haftily push damage, which is really strong. And then finally, triple strike, kind of what we talked about. Being able to close out the game at 3 as opposed to 1 or 2 is just incredibly powerful, especially because we can get up to this on turn 3, and it's really easy to get our opponent into that 3-card area with all the burn from our leader and then all of our swings and everything like that. So we can get there pretty well, and just being able to close out the game with just a big fat triple striker that can't be negated is just incredibly powerful. Moving on to the weaknesses, kind of like we talked about, blockers are going to be really strong moving forward. We don't have an inherent way to deal with a ton of blockers in the deck, especially if you're playing against something like Zamasu, who has a lot of like 10k blockers. There's not a lot of things that Red has access to early in the game that can kind of deal with those. So that is something that's a little bit annoying. You are able to side in things like Planet M2, but that only deals with like 5k blockers, so that's not super helpful against things like Zamasu. And then finally, counterplay. So a lot of the counterplay cards that I introduced, like the Preemptive Strike and things like that, if they're able to pay the 2 energy whenever we play the Familia Bonds and pop our Goku, we can't go up the chain, so that puts us back a turn, which is a little annoying. So you just have to kind of play around that a little bit. If it happens, it happens, or if you just have to pay attention to whether they're tapped out or not. There's nothing we can really do about that now, with minus Killy Zone being banned, which I think is still for the better of the game. But that is something to be aware of. But hopefully we're getting out this so early that they're not able to either see those cards or keep the energy open to play those. So that's kind of what we're going for there. Overall, I think this deck is incredibly strong. It's incredibly hard hitting. Like I said, I've probably put 15 to 20 games in this, and 90 to 95% of them I'm winning on turn 3. I'm getting them down to the 3 life, going in the triple flash, playing my combination attack Pans, making him huge, using a leader ability to make him even bigger. So I'm swinging in with like a 75k base triple flash Goku, and then you add in the combos and that, and you're easily getting up to the 110, 115k on turn 3, which is just really hard to deal with. So overall, I think the deck is very strong. I think it's something to look out for. There's probably going to be a couple different variations of this floating around. Gohan's one way, Pan's another way. We may cover Pan here next week maybe, because Pan has some other options that kind of work with this as well. But overall, like I said, I think it's incredibly powerful. I would look out for it. I'd kind of expect it. It's very fun to play as well, just because you've got so much going on and everything like that. But anyway, guys, that is it, and we will see y'all next time.